Right, I'm going to put this up out there on YouTube because I'm interested to find out what other people are thinking about um, fuel and their older bikes. And if you've got carburetors, you've got E10 on the forecourt now, you've got the premium unleaded still on sale. As far as I'm aware, that is on sale until at least 2026. I don't think the government can take that off the forecourts unless they've got an alternative. There's just too many vehicles that rely on that won't run on E10. So I'm just interested to know what other people are doing about this situation, how they are going to handle it. What are they doing with their older bikes that are carbureted? And how are they going to? Let's say they take premium fuel off the forecourt. What's your plan? What is it you're going to do? I know that if you ride your bike regular, it maybe isn't so much of a problem. I know that when E5 came along, everybody, whoa, that's it, our classic cars or bikes are going to be ruined. And it wasn't the case, right? Now, E10, okay, takes the ethanol back up, another 5%, and it does increase the issues for older bikes. Especially the fact that it will absorb more water, and if you're not using the bike on a regular basis, things are going to start getting gummed up. Rubbers are going to start getting affected. I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to, pop up in the industry, a company that's going to start supplying E10 kits for your bike to make it E10 friendly. There's probably a bit of money to be made there if somebody has got the gumption to take it on. The trouble is that everybody's going to be thinking, is it worth investing in the future of these bikes? Am I going to have a business in 20, 30 years' time? But hopefully some people will still think about that, and hopefully these things will start to come on the market, that maybe you can buy an E10 kit for your VFR 750 and it'll make it E10 friendly. I don't know an enormous amount about it, so part of me is talking out my arse as far as that's concerned. But that's why I'm putting this out there, because I would like to see what other people have got to say about it. What's their opinion on the future of their older bikes? Because I've got, I know people who have got many old cars that they've spent a lifetime building and keeping and putting on the road and taking round shows. Can that industry die? If you think about all of the factors, all the companies that work in the motor trade, that supply all the bits and pieces, that can't just disappear. It can't. Electric's not the answer fully. Electric is fine at the moment for city travel and short distance, and it has its place, and I can see why it's there, but it's not the only answer. Is synthetic fuel a good idea? Could that help us keep our older bikes and cars on the road? The government they haven't got a clue, and they really don't know what they're doing. They're making decisions and making deadlines that they have no idea how they're going to stick to. And I think majority of people believe that and know that. And I'm no doubt that things will change. I know that combustion engines can't last forever. I know that petrol was always going to, become a commodity that would become scarce. Oil, all these things. I know that the combustion engine, just like the steam engine, has a lifespan and it will end at some point. But I don't think we're ready for it yet. We don't have the technology to just step in and replace it. And I don't think electric vehicles is the only answer. It does have a part to play, but it doesn't complete the picture. And I think others, there's other alternatives out there. So all that is bundled into my original question about how are you going to look after your old bikes? What are you going to do if premium fuel disappears off the forecourt and all you can get is E10? What is the industry going to do? What are we going to do to make sure that our bikes and our cars can still run? Right now, I know that the bottom line here is all about the environment and the atmosphere and the world and people's lives and our grandchildren and the great grandchildren, their lives matter to us, and obviously we should be making sure that we go forward giving them a world to live in, right? And I understand that, but you know, at the moment, I don't think motor vehicles are the biggest contributor to the whole problem. And I think that there's a bit of blanking out of how much wastage is there in battery technology. You know, these battery vehicles have a lifespan, and then what happens? The batteries are redundant, and you've got to generate new batteries, and you know all the process in making those batteries equally does affect our environment. So there's a lot of not people not being honest about what's going on and not really getting the full picture. Now, I'm only telling you from my perspective, and I possibly don't know a lot of things that other people will come along and say, oh, wait a minute, right? But that's why I'm opening up the discussion. So I'm hoping that we can maybe get some feedback on this video. It would be greatly appreciated. Take care, ride safe, catch you later. Bye.